Imagine waking at 5:47 in the morning in a three-bedroom house you own on a single factory wage. The year is 1973. You are 42 years old. You truly believe that hard work guarantees
All
security.
right, team, let's
You
get
have
to
12
it.
more years
The
until
years go by
retirement at
so fast,
55 with
one
full
day at a
pension.
time.
You have no idea this is the last summer before everything changes. The alarm clock rattles on the nightstand. Not the gentle buzz of a
We
digital
need to move
device,
now.
but
I
the
know,
mechanical
but we
hammer-on
have to be
bells
careful.
violence of a
Careful
wind-up
gets us
West
caught.
clocks.
All right.
The sound cuts through the June darkness like a blade. Your hand shoots out muscle memory from 18 years of this exact motion and silences it before the third ring. Beside you, Maureen shifts beneath the covers, but doesn't wake. She doesn't have to be at the elementary school until 8:30. You have given her that gift at least, the gift of sleep. 5:47. Always 5:47. Not 5:45, not 5:50. 18 years of waking at this precise minute have taught your body when to surface from whatever dreams factory workers are allowed to have. Dreams of retirement, mostly. Dreams of a cabin up in the Upper Peninsula where the lakes are so clear you can see 20 feet down and the walleye practically jump into your boat. You sit on the edge of the bed, feet on carpet that Maureen vacuumed yesterday. The bedroom is dark except for the green glow of the alarm clock and the faint pre-dawn gray creeping around the edges of the curtains. Your back announces itself immediately. Not pain, exactly, not yet. More like a warning. A reminder that you are 42 years old and you have been bending, reaching, lifting, and standing on concrete floors for 18 years. The lower vertebrae, if they could speak, would tell you they remember every single shift. You stand. Your knees make a sound like gravel shifting in a tin can. This is new, this noise. Started about 6 months ago. You haven't mentioned it to Maureen. What would be the point 12 more years? You can handle 12 more years. The house smells like coffee. You set the automatic timer on the Mr. Coffee machine last night, just like you do every night. By 5:45, the pot is ready. This small piece of technology, this simple timer feels like proof that the future is arriving on schedule. Automatic coffee makers, color television, men walking on the moon. Everything moving forward, everything getting better, just like the union steward promised when you first hired on in 1955. The bathroom mirror shows you a face you still recognize, even if it is harder around the edges than it used to be. 42, not old, not young. The hair is still there, still is brown though. Maureen keeps pointing out the gray at the temples. The lines around your eyes have deepened. 18 years of squinting at car doors under fluorescent lights will do that. You have all your teeth. You have your sight. You have two hands with all their fingers. You are winning. You run the water until it gets hot, which takes about 30 seconds because you live in a house built in 1961 with modern plumbing. Not like the old tenements your father grew up in, where hot water was a luxury you paid extra for, and the bathroom was down the hall shared by 4 families. This is America in 1973. This is what the contract bought. Hot water in 30 seconds. The razor scrapes across your face in practice strokes. You have been shaving the same face for 26 years since you were 16, and the peach fuzz finally became something that required a blade. The ritual is meditative. Foam stroke, rinse, stroke, rinse. Your father taught you this standing in this exact position, his hand guiding yours. He worked at the Ford River Rouge plant for 33 years. Retired in 1968 at 62 with a pension of $987 a month plus full medical. He died 2 years later, but those 2 years he spent fishing and not thinking about Valve Springs, where he said the best years of his life. You will have more than 2 years. You will have 20, maybe 30. The actuarial tables say a man who makes it to 55 has a good chance of seeing 80. That is the plan. 55 to 80, 25 years of not waking at 5:47, 25 years of not listening to pneumatic tools scream in your left ear, 25 years of watching the sun come up over a lake instead of over a parking lot that holds 8,400 cars. The kitchen is small but sufficient. Formica countertops, avocado green. Maureen wanted gold, but avocado was on sale at Sears. You made the right choice. The green hide stains better. The coffee pot gurgles its last drops into the glass carafe. You pour a cup into the mug that says, "World's Best Dad, a Father's Day gift from Declan 3 years ago." The coffee is black, hot, bitter. Perfect. The clock on the wall, the one shaped like a rooster that Maureen's mother gave you as a housewarming gift 12 years ago, reads 5:53, 7 minutes to make your lunch. This is another ritual precise and unchanging. White bread 4 slices, butter on all 4, bologna on 2 3 slices thick, American cheese on the other 2 2 slices each. Stack them cut diagonally, wrap in wax paper. Put in the black metal lunch pail that your father carried before you. Add a thermos of coffee, an apple, and a Hostess cupcake. This lunch costs 67 cents to make. The cafeteria charges 95 cents for roughly the same thing. Over a year, you save about $70 by making your own. $70 is 2 weeks of groceries. You do not waste $70. The lunch pail sits on the counter, closed and ready. Next to it, your work boots. Red Wing style 1106. Steel toe oil resistant sole, 7 years old. You have had them resoled twice, once at 3 years, once at 6. The leather has gone soft in all the right places, molded to your feet like a second skin. New boots cost $42. These boots have another 3 years in them at least. You do not waste $42. You sit at the kitchen table to put on the boots. This used to be a standing operation, 1 foot up on a chair, lace tie, move on. But your back has opinions about standing and bending now, so you sit. The boots go on over white athletic socks, the thick kind that are supposed to prevent blisters, but mostly just make your feet sweat. The laces are round and waxy, and they grip the hooks with satisfying clicks as you work your way up from toe to ankle. When you tie the final knot, a double bow that will not come loose no matter how much you walk, you feel the transformation begin. These boots weigh 3 pounds each, 6 pounds total. You will wear them for 8.5 hours, minus 30 minutes for lunch, minus 2 15-minute breaks. That is 7.5 hours. Scholars debate whether the weight of work boots contributes to long-term joint damage or whether the steel toe protection offsets the risk. You do not care about the debate. You care that these boots have saved your toes twice, once in 1961, when a door panel slipped, once in 1969 when a forklift driver was not paying attention. Your toes are worth 6 pounds. The shirt comes next. Denim short sleeve chambray blue. Above the left pocket, embroidered in red thread, the name Callaway. Below the pocket, smaller, the logo of Midwest Motors, a stylized M wrapped around a gear. You have 12 of these shirts, 1 for each day of a 2-week pay period, plus 2 spares for when the washing machine breaks or when you spill something that will not come out. Maureen washes them on Saturdays, starches them, stiff irons them flat. When you put on a fresh shirt on Monday morning, it crackles like paper. By Friday, it has gone soft, saturated with sweat and oil, and the particular smell of factory work that no amount of Tide can remove. This is a Wednesday shirt, medium stiffness. It will do. Over the shirt goes the jacket. UAW Local 600, United Auto Workers. The jacket is navy blue with gold lettering and a patch on the back showing 2 hands gripping a wrench. You have had this jacket since 1958, 3 years after you hired on, when you paid your first year of union dues, and they gave you the jacket as proof of membership. 15 years old, this jacket. The cuffs are frayed, the zipper sticks, and there is a cigarette burn on the right sleeve from 1964 when Dutch Kellerman was not paying attention. But the jacket still fits, still keeps the morning chill off, and still smells like machine oil that is soaked so deep into the fibers that it has become part of the fabric itself. You could wash this jacket 100 times and it would still smell like work. You like that smell. It is the smell of money, the smell of security, the smell of the contract. 6:05. The kitchen is brightening now, the sun starting its climb over the houses across the street. You can hear birds, robins probably. They nest in the maple tree in the front yard. Every spring, raise their chicks, teach them to fly, and leave by August. You like the robins. They follow a schedule. They do their bound. They leave when the work is done. You pick up the lunch pail, 3 pounds when full. Add that to the boots, and you are carrying 9 pounds before you even leave the house. Your body is a machine that carries weight. Your shoulders, your back, your knees, your feet. They are all parts of this machine, and like any machine, they will eventually wear out. But not yet, not for 12 more years. The front door opens silently. You oiled the hinges last month. A squeaky hinge wakes Maureen, and Maureen needs her sleep. She works part-time at Oakwood Elementary, 10:30 to 3, 4 days a week, filing papers and answering phones and doing whatever else the principal needs. She makes $4,200 a year, which is good money for part-time work, but she does not need to work at all. Your salary is $11,200 a year. That is enough for the mortgage, the car, the groceries, the utilities, the insurance, and still have enough left over to save. Maureen works because she likes to work, because she likes feeling useful, because the house gets too quiet when Declan and Fiona are at school. She does not work because the family will starve without her paycheck. That is the difference. That is what the contract means. The morning air hits your face like cold water. June in Michigan, 5:47 in the morning, and the temperature is probably 55 degrees. By 3:30 this afternoon, it will be 78. Perfect. You pull the door shut behind you. Hear the lock click and pause for just a moment on the front step. 2847 Oakwood Avenue, Dearborn, Michigan. Your house. Not the bank's house, not a landlord's house. Yours. You bought it in 1963 for $14,800. Put down $2,960, 20% money. You saved in 3 years by living in a one-bedroom apartment and driving a used Chevrolet and not eating at restaurants. The mortgage is $127 a month. You have made 120 payments. You have 120 payments left. 10 years. In 10 years, 2 years before you retire, this house will be paid off completely, and then it will really be yours. The house is a ranch style, which means everything on one level, no stairs to climb when your knees finally give out. 1,240 square feet. 3 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, a living room, a kitchen, a basement. The roof is asphalt shingles replaced in 1968. The siding is aluminum maintenance-free. The lawn is Kentucky bluegrass, which you mow every Saturday with a Toro push mower you bought used for $35 in 1965. The driveway is concrete poured when the house was built, cracked now in 3 places but still functional. In the driveway sits a 1969 Chevrolet Impala forest green V8 engine automatic transmission, AM radio. Paid off. You bought it new for $3,100, paid it off in 3 years, and it now has 62,000 miles on it and will probably go another 60,000 before you need to think about replacing it. This house, this car, this lawn, this life. You built this, not with your own hands, not like a carpenter builds a house, but with your labor. With 18 years of waking at 5:47, with 18 years of breathing metal dust and squinting under fluorescent lights and feeling your back slowly compress. You traded your body for this address, and it was a fair trade. The contract said so. You give us 30 years, we give you security. That was the deal. That is still the deal. You walk to the car. The grass is wet with dew and it soaks into your boots before you reach the driveway. The Impala's door handle is cold. The door opens with a heavy chunk that sounds like quality, like American steel, like something built to last. You slide into the driver's seat, put the lunch pail on the passenger seat, and fit the key into the ignition. The engine turns over on the first try. It always does. You maintain this car like your life depends on it, because in a way it does. Oil change every 3,000 miles. Tires rotated every 6,000. Transmission fluid checked monthly. This car will outlive you if you take care of it. That is the promise American engineering makes, and it is a promise you believe. You back out of the driveway at 6:08, 2 minutes ahead of schedule, but that is fine. You will sit in the parking lot for 2 minutes. You will not arrive late. 18 years, never late, not once. That is the kind of worker you are. That is why when the foreman position opened up in 1969, they gave it to you instead of to Rodriguez or Patterson or any of the other guys with more seniority. Because you were never late, because you did the work, because you kept the deal. The drive from Oakwood Avenue to Midwest Motors Plant Number 7 is 4.3 miles. You know this because the odometer clicked over exactly 4.3 miles the first time you drove it, and you have been watching it click ever since. 4.3 miles, 14 minutes in light traffic, 19 minutes in heavy. This morning there is no traffic. The streets of Dearborn are empty except for the other early shift workers, the other men in other cars heading to other factories, all of us moving through the gray dawn like blood cells through arteries, keeping the heart of America beating. You do not turn on the radio. The news will be the same as yesterday. Watergate hearings, oil prices, someone complaining about something in Washington. You do not care about Washington. Washington does not sign your paycheck. Midwest Motors does. The contract does. You care about things you can control, things you can see, things you can touch. The radio stays off. At the corner of Oakwood and Southfield, the traffic light is red. You stop even though there are no other cars in sight. You follow the rules. Rules are what separates civilization from chaos. The light turns green. You go. The sun is climbing now, turning the sky from gray to pale blue to the washed-out summer color that means it will be hot by noon. You can see the plant in the distance 3 blocks away. Midwest Motors Plant, Number 7. The main building is 12 stories tall, all brick and glass and steel. Smoke rises from the stacks on the north side, white against the blue sky. Beautiful in its way. Proof of industry. Proof of production. Proof that America still makes things. The parking lot comes into view at 6:14. It is already half full. Night shift is still inside. We'll be inside until 7 when the horn blows. And they stream out and you stream in the changing of the guard, the eternal rhythm of three-shift production. You turn into the lot, find your usual spot in row F, third car from the end. This is not an assigned spot. Assigned spots are for management. But you have been parking here for so long that everyone knows this is Callaway's spot and no one takes it. You turn off the engine. The Impala ticks as it cools. You sit for a moment, hands still on the steering wheel, looking at the building. 12 stories, 8,400 workers across 3 shifts. 2,800 per shift, give or take, though, at any given time, only about 2,300 are on the floor because of breaks, rotations, and the 300 or so administrative and support staff who work different schedules. All of you building cars, sedans mostly. 4-door family cars with V8 engines and automatic transmissions, and AM/FM radios and air conditioning. Cars that people across America will buy and drive and keep for 10 years before they trade them in. Good cars, honest cars. You are proud of these cars. You pick up the lunch pail and get out. The parking lot smells like oil and exhaust, and the particular industrial smell of a place where metal is cut and shaped and welded and painted. You have been breathing this smell for 18 years. It is in your lungs, in your blood, probably in your bones. Scholars debate whether long-term exposure to industrial environments causes measurable health effects or whether the human body simply adapts. You do not care about the debate. You care that this smell means work, and work means money, and money means the house on Oakwood Avenue and the Impala in the driveway and the promise of retirement at 55. The walk from row OF to the main entrance is 200 yards. You know this because someone measured it once for a union dispute about how far workers should have to walk from the farthest parking spot. 200 yards is not far. You walk it every day. But over 18 years, over 4,500 shifts, that adds up. 200 yards times 4,500 is 900,000 yards. That is 511 miles. You have walked from Dearborn, Michigan to Cleveland, Ohio, just getting from your car to the factory door. Other workers are arriving now. You recognize most of them. Dutch Kellerman, 58 night shift, heading home. You nod. He nods. Words are not necessary. Cormac Hayes, 19, started last month, still has the nervous energy of someone who thinks this job might be temporary. Vaughn Baptiste, 48, Wolftick, came up from Louisiana in 1959, sends money home to his mother every month. Silas Kern, 51, quality control, never married, lives with his sister, knows more about torque specifications than any man alive. You know these men. Not their hopes and fears, not their dreams, but their work. You know who shows up on time and who pushes it. You know who does the job and who cuts corners. You know who will be here in 10 years and who will wash out in 6 months. This is your tribe. These are your people. Not because you chose them, but because you share something deeper than choice. You share the contract. The main entrance is a set of double doors, glass and steel, with the Midwest Motors logo etched into the glass. The logo is an M wrapped around a gear. Simple, functional, American. You push through the doors at 6:22, 8 minutes early, right on schedule. The lobby is chaos, not disorder, but organized chaos. Hundreds of workers flowing in from the parking lot, flowing out from night shift, all of them moving with purpose. The floor is polished concrete. The walls are painted industrial beige, and the fluorescent lights overhead buzz with the 60-cycle hum that will become the soundtrack to your day. There are bulletin boards on the walls covered with safety notices, production targets, union announcements. You do not stop to read them. You have seen them all before. The time clock is in the hallway just past the lobby. 50 time clocks actually mounted on the wall in 2 rows of 25 each, one with a rack of time cards slotted below it. Your card is in position 43. You have been pulling card 43 for 18 years. You slide it out, line it up in the clock, and pull the lever. The machine stamps the time with a mechanical thunk that you feel in your chest. 6:24. Officially on the clock. For the next 8.5 hours, your time belongs to Midwest Motors. You slide the card into the out rack and join the flow of workers heading to the locker room. The locker room is the size of a gymnasium, which makes sense because it serves 2,800 workers. The ceiling is high, the lighting is bad, and the smell is a combination of sweat, deodorant, cigarette smoke, and the metallic tang of the plant itself. Your locker is number 806. The combination is 14328. You have not forgotten it once in 18 years. Inside the locker, a change of clothes for emergencies, a bottle of aspirin, a pack of Camel cigarettes, a lighter, and a photograph of Maureen and the kids from last Christmas. You do not smoke anymore. Quit 3 years ago when the Surgeon General report came out and Maureen threatened to leave you if you did not, but you keep the pack in the locker just in case. Just in case of what you are not sure. Just in case the stress gets too high. Just in case 12 more years feels like too many. Just in case you need proof that you could start again if you wanted to. You have not opened the pack in 3 years. You close the locker and head for the floor. The hallway from the locker room to the production floor is long and narrow, painted the same industrial beige as everything else. The floor is concrete, worn smooth by decades of boots. The walls are lined with pipes and conduits carrying electricity, compressed air, cooling water, all the invisible infrastructure that makes a factory run. You do not think about the pipes, you just walk. The door to the production floor is steel-painted red with a warning sign, EAR protection required beyond this point. You pull the orange foam earplugs from your pocket, roll them between your fingers, and insert them into your ears. The world goes muffled. Voices become murmurs. Footsteps fade. But when you push through the red door, even the earplugs cannot stop the sound. The production floor is a cathedral of noise. Pneumatic tools screaming, metal presses, slamming conveyor chains, grinding welders, sparking grinders, shrieking air compressors, thumping. The sound is not just heard, it is felt. It moves through the floor, through the air, through your chest. 120 decibels in some sections. Loud enough to damage hearing in minutes, destroy it in hours. That is why the earplugs are required. That is why your left ear has a permanent ringing that never stops, not even when you sleep. Tinnitus, the disease of factories, the price of production. But under the noise there is a rhythm. The plant breathes. It inhales raw materials, steel and glass and rubber and plastic. It exhales finished cars, 412 cars per shift. 3 shifts per day means 1,236 cars rolling off this line every 24 hours. This is line 4, your line. Door assembly, your cathedral, your responsibility. You walk along the edge of the line watching it move. The conveyor carries car bodies, skeletal frames without doors or windows or paint, just the bare bones of what will become a family sedan. The bodies move at a precise speed calculated down to the second. Each station has exactly 47 seconds to complete its task before the next body arrives. 47 seconds to install a line bolt, check and release. 47 seconds over and over, 412 times per shift forever. Your crew is already assembling at Station 12. 23 men, your men, the workers you are responsible for teaching, correcting, protecting, and pushing. They wear the same blue shirts, the same steel-toed boots, the same orange earplugs. Some of them are young, barely out of high school. Some are old, 50 or 60, counting down to retirement, just like you. Most are somewhere in between, married with kids, mortgages, car payments, the same load you carry. You do not gather them for a speech. There is no time for speeches, and the noise would drown out your words anyway. You just make eye contact one by one and nod. They nod back. This is the morning ritual. This is how you say, I see you, I am here. We are doing this together. Let us all begin. The horn blows at 6:30. Not a horn really, more like a klaxon, a wailing industrial scream that cuts through even the pneumatic tools. The night shift stops working mid-motion, tools still in hand, and steps away from the line. Your shift steps forward. The exchange takes 30 seconds, and then the line moves and the work begins. Your job is foreman, which means you do not install doors yourself anymore. You supervise. You watch. You inspect. Every car that passes Station 12, you check 4 hinges per door, 8 hinges total. You run your hand along the seal, checking for gaps. You open the door, close it, listen for the click that means it latched correctly. You look for scratches, dents, misalignments, anything that would cause this car to come back as a defect. Your signature goes on the inspection sheet. Your reputation rides on every car. 47 seconds per car. That gives you about 6 minutes per car if you check carefully. You can do 9 cars per hour, 72 cars per shift accounting for breaks and lunch. Over 18 years, that is over 300,000 cars. 300,000 doors opened and closed. 300,000 inspections. 300,000 times you put your name on a piece of paper that said, this is good work. This will not fail. The first car of the day arrives at 6:33. The body is primer gray, skeletal, beautiful in its incompleteness. Workers swarm it. Doors lifted from racks aligned with hinges, bolts driven home with pneumatic wrenches that sound like machine guns. 47 seconds later, the car moves on and the next one arrives. And the next. And the next. You watch Cormac, the new kid, struggle with alignment on the passenger side front door. The door is heavy, 60 pounds of steel and glass, and Cormac is trying to muscle it into place instead of letting the hinge do the work. You step in, tap him on the shoulder, take the door from his hands. You show him how to let the weight of the door settle into the hinge, how to use gravity instead of fighting it, how to feel the alignment rather than force it. He nods. He understands. He will be fine. The rhythm takes over. Car after car after car. Your body moves without thought. Your hands know what to check. Your eyes know what to see. Your mind drifts. This is the meditation of factory work. You are present and absent at the same time. Your body is here on the line checking doors. Your mind is in the Upper Peninsula, sitting in a boat watching the sunrise over a lake so clear you can see the bottom. At 7:15, you notice the suits. 3 of them standing at the edge of the floor with Wallace Hardwick, the plant manager. Wallace is 55 years old, been with Midwest Motors for 31 years. Started on the line just like you, worked his way up through foreman shift, supervisor operations manager, and finally plant manager 3 years ago. He is one of you, or he used to be. Now he wears a tie and answers to corporate. Suits do not come to the floor unless something is wrong or something is about to change. You cannot hear what they are saying, but you can see them pointing, writing on clipboards, taking photographs with a Polaroid camera. One of them has a stopwatch. He clicks it every time a worker completes a task, writes the number on his clipboard, clicks it again. He is timing you. He is timing all of you, calculating how long each motion takes, how much dead time exists between motions, how the process could be streamlined, optimized, reduced. How many of you could be eliminated? Cormac sees them too. He looks at you, a question in his eyes. You shake your head. Keep working. Do not speculate. Just do the job. The line does not stop for suits. The line does not stop for anything except catastrophic failure or the horn that signals break time. Car after car, door after door, check, sign, release. Check, sign, release. The suits disappear after 20 minutes, but the unease they brought stays behind, hanging in the air like smoke. At 10 o'clock, the horn blows. Break, 15 minutes. You pull the earplugs out and the world rushes back in, loud and disorienting. Your crew scatters immediately, some to the bathroom, some to the vending machines, some outside for a cigarette. You walk to the designated smoking area, a concrete pad just outside the east door, even though you do not smoke anymore. This is where information moves. This is where you learn what the suits wanted. Dutch Kellerman is there, just finishing his shift, ready to go home. He lights a Marlboro and offers you one. You wave it off. He shrugs. You see the suits, you ask. Saw him, Dutch says. He is 58, face like worn leather, 2 fingers missing on his left hand from an accident before he came to Midwest, working construction in the 40s. Time motion study. That's what Hardwick told me. What does that mean? Means they're figuring out how to need less of us. Dutch takes a drag, exhales slowly. Ford closed Plant 3 last month. 4,200 jobs gone. Moved production to Mexico. You hear about that? You did not hear about that. You do not follow Ford. You work for Midwest Motors, and Midwest Motors is different. Midwest Motors has a contract. Midwest Motors is union. This is not Ford. We got a contract, you say. Through 76, they can't touch us. Dutch looks at you with something that might be pity or might just be exhaustion. Kidun, he says, and you are 42, but he has been calling you kid since you were 24. I hope you're right. I got 1 more year till I retire. After that, it's your problem. He drops the cigarette, grinds it under his boot, and walks toward the parking lot. You watch him go, watch him climb into his truck, watch him drive away. Dutch will retire next year at 59. He will get $847 a month for the rest of his life, plus full medical. That is what the contract says. That is what the company promised. The horn blows again. Break over. Back to the line. You push through the red door and the noise swallows you again. Car after car after car. Time becomes elastic, stretching and compressing. Some shifts feel like years. This shift feels like minutes. Before you know it, the lunch horn blows. 12 o'clock. Time to eat. The cafeteria is in the basement, down 2 flights of stairs that your knees protest. The room is enormous, able to seat 2,000 workers, though it is never full because shifts overlap and workers come and go at different times. Right now at noon on first shift, there are about 2,100 workers on lunch rotation. The tables are long and aluminum, the chairs are plastic and orange, and the whole place smells like industrial food, hot dogs, French fries, coffee that has been sitting on a burner since 6 in the morning. You do not eat in the cafeteria. You eat at table 47 in the back corner, away from the chaos. This is where your people sit. Vaughn Silas Cormac, when he is not too nervous to join you. Today it is just you and Vaughn. Silas is on a different break rotation this week. You sit open your lunch pail, unwrap the bologna sandwich. Vaughn has brought his own lunch too, something in a container that smells like spices and rice. He is from Louisiana, originally came north in '59, looking for work, found it, stayed. He sends $400 a month back home to his mother. You know this because he told you once, and you have not forgotten. Vaughn, you say, your boy still going to Wayne State? Vaughn's face lights up. Starts in September. Pre-med, wants to be a doctor. That's good. That's real good. Tuition is $780 a year, Vaughn says. I can cover it. Been saving since he was born. He's not going to have debt. Not if I can help it. $780 a year. You do the math in your head. 4 years of college. $3,120 total. Vaughn makes about what you make, maybe a little less because he is not a foreman. But he has been saving. He has a plan. His son will be a doctor. That is what this job buys. Not just food and shelter, but futures. Possibilities. The chance for your children to do better than you did. My daughter is getting married next month, Silas says. He has appeared while you were thinking, carrying a tray with a hot dog and fries. Got $2,400 saved for the wedding. Still got my vacation fund separate. Still got my retirement. You believe that I can afford all three. You believe it because you are doing the same thing. The numbers are tight, but they work. $11,200 a year gross. $9,100 take-home after taxes and union dues. $758 a month. Mortgage $127. Car payment $0 because you paid it off. Utilities $45. Food $280. Insurance $60. Total expenses $512. Leaves you $246 per month. Half of that goes to savings. Half to vacation fund. The numbers work. The budget balances. This is not magic. This is just math. You hear about Ford Plant 3, Silas asks. So it is spreading, the news, the unease. Heard you say, can't happen here, Silas says. We got a contract. You want to believe this. You want to believe that contracts mean something, that promises are kept, that the deal you made 18 years ago will still be honored 12 years from now. But you do not say this to Silas. You just nod and eat your sandwich. Lunch passes. The horn blows. Back to the line. The afternoon shift is always harder than the morning. Your back is louder now. Your feet are numb. Your hands are starting to shake from the vibration of the tools. But the work continues. Car after car, door after door. You are a machine, and machines do not stop until someone turns them off. At 2:15, break number 2. You do not go outside this time. You just lean against the wall near Station 12, close your eyes and breathe. 18 years, 12 more. You can do this. You have to do this. There is no other choice. When you open your eyes, Cormac is standing in front of you. Mr. Calloway, he says. He is the only one who calls you Mr. Everyone else just calls you Calloway or Jazz. I wanted to thank you for earlier with the door. Don't mention it. I'm going to get better, Cormac says. I promise I'm going to be as good as you. You look at this kid, 19 years old, fresh out of high school, full of energy and hope, and the belief that hard work will be rewarded. You remember being him. You remember believing the same things. You still believe them mostly. You'll be better than me, you tell Cormac, and you mean it. Just keep showing up. Keep doing the work. That's all it takes. The horn blows. Back to work. The final stretch. 2:15 to 3:30. 75 minutes. 63 cars. 504 door inspections. You can do this in your sleep. You have been doing it for 18 years. At 3:25, you start to feel it. The end of the shift approaching. The light at the end of the tunnel. 5 more minutes. 4. 3. The last car rolls through at 3:28. You inspect it, sign it, and release it. Done. The horn blows at 3:30. The shift is over. The line stops. Your crew steps away from their stations, pulls out their earplugs, and starts the shuffle toward the locker room. You follow, but slower. Your back is screaming now. Your knees are grinding. Your hands are shaking. But you made it. Another shift. Another day. In the locker room, you sit on the bench and just breathe for 5 minutes. Other workers stream past, heading home. You will too. In a minute, when your body agrees to stand up again. You think about tonight, dinner with Maureen and the kids. Meatloaf, probably. Mashed potatoes, green beans. Declan has homework, needs help with fractions. Fiona wants to watch Happy Days. Maureen will go to her PTA meeting. You will sit in your chair, read the paper, maybe close your eyes for a few minutes. And tomorrow you will wake at 5:47 and do it again. And the day after that, and the day after that. For 12 more years, 4,000 more shifts, 1.6 million more door inspections, and then you will retire. You will get your pension. You will buy your cabin. You will fish and watch sunrises and never think about car doors again. That is the promise. That is the contract. That is the deal. You stand up, close your locker, and head for the parking lot. The Impala is waiting in row F3rd from the end exactly where you left it 8.5 hours ago. The sun is bright now. The sky is clear and the temperature is perfect. It is a beautiful June day in 1973. You have no idea it is already ending. The cafeteria is louder at noon than it is at any other time. 2,100 workers on first shift lunch break, all of them talking, eating, laughing, complaining. The sound echoes off the concrete walls and low ceiling, creating a wall of noise that is almost as loud as the factory floor itself. But it is a different kind of noise. Human noise, the noise of men who are allowed for 30 minutes to be something other than parts in a machine. You sit at table 47 with your lunch pail open in front of you. The bologna sandwich tastes like it always does, like salt and fat and the slight sweetness of white bread. You have eaten this exact sandwich 4,500 times. You will eat it 4,000 more. There is comfort in repetition. There is safety in knowing exactly what comes next. Vaughn Baptiste sits across from you, eating rice and beans from a Tupperware container that his wife packed this morning. The smell is rich, complex, layered with spices you cannot name. Next to him, Silas Kern picks at a hot dog that cost him 35 cents, plus 20 cents, 4 fries, plus 15 cents for a Coke. 70 cents total. Your sandwich costs 67 cents to make. You are saving 3 cents on this meal alone. Over a year, over 250 working days, that is $7.50. Not much, but not nothing. Cormac Hayes sits at the end of the table, nervous energy radiating off him like heat. He has brought a sandwich, 2 peanut butter and jelly, the lunch of someone whose mother still packs for him. He is 19. You were 19 once in 1950, 23 years ago. It feels like a different century. It feels like a different country. My boy got his acceptance letter, Vaughn says, and his voice carries pride that makes his whole face change. Wayne State, pre-med, starts September 4th. That's real good, Vaughn, Silas says. Real good. What's tuition running these days? $780 a year. Silas whistles low. That's steep. I can cover it, Vaughn says, and there is no hesitation in his voice. Been saving since he was born. Got it in a savings account at First National. 5.25% interest. By the time he graduates, I'll have enough for all 4 years plus books. You do the math automatically. 780 times 4 is 3,120. Plus books, maybe another 400 total. Call it 3,500. At 5.25% interest, starting with about 2,500 in the account, now letting it grow while adding to it monthly, the numbers work. The numbers actually work. This is not rich. This is not easy. But this is possible. This is a life you can actually live. One salary supporting 4 people with money left over. The arithmetic of the American dream, and the arithmetic works. You hear about Ford Plant 3, Vaughn asks, and the mood at the table shifts, like someone opened a door and let in cold air. You have heard, everyone has heard, Ford Plant 3 in Wayne, Michigan, 15 miles from here. 4,200 workers. Closed. Done. Production moved to Hermosillo, Mexico, where labor costs $3 per day instead of $11 per hour. That's Ford, Silas says. Ford's always been different. They never cared about their people the way we do here. We got a contract, you say, through 76. Union won't let them break it. Sure, Vaughn says, but he does not sound sure. But you see those suits this morning started walking the floor with Hardwick, taking pictures. You saw them. Everyone saw them. Time motion study, you say. They're always doing studies, trying to find efficiencies. That's just management doing management things. My cousin works at Chrysler, Cormac says, speaking for the first time. His voice is young, uncertain. He says they're talking about robots, machines that can weld paint, install parts, machines that don't need lunch breaks or pensions. Robots, Silas says, and he laughs, but it is not a comfortable laugh. Kid, they've been talking about robots since the 50s. You know how many robots are working this line right now? 0. You know why? Because robots can't think. Robots can't adjust when something's wrong. Robots can't feel when a door is aligned right. We're not getting replaced by robots. Cormac nods, but you can see he is not convinced. Neither are you, not completely. You have been reading about automation in the union newsletter. It is coming. Everyone knows it is coming. The question is not if, but when and how many jobs it will take when it arrives. 12 more years. You say more to yourself than to the table. I got 12 more years and then I'm out. Whatever happens after that, it's not my problem. Vaughn looks at you and there is something in his eyes you cannot quite read. You really think nothing's going to change in the 12 years? I think the contract says what it says, you tell him. I think we got rights. I think the union won't let them screw us. The horn sounds. Lunch is over. 30 minutes that felt like fun. You wrap up what is left of your sandwich, put it back in the lunch pail, and stand. Your back announces itself again. That deep ache that starts in the lumbar region and radiates up to your shoulders. You are 42 years old. Some days you feel 25. Some days you feel 60. Today you feel exactly 42, which is to say you feel the accumulated weight of 18 years of this work, and you feel the dread of 12 more. The afternoon shift is always harder. Your body is already tired, already sore, and there are still 4 hours and 15 minutes to go. The line starts at 12:45 and runs until 3:30 with one more 15-minute break at 2. That break is sacred. It is the only thing standing between you and complete breakdown. You take your position at station 12. The line starts moving. Car after car, door after door. Check the hinges, check the seal open close, listen for the click, inspect for scratches, sign the sheet. 47 seconds. Next car. Repeat. At 1:15 you see them again. The suits. 3 of them same as this morning, but this time they are not just watching. They are measuring. One of them has a stopwatch. He clicks it every time a worker completes a task. Writes the number on his clipboard, clicks it again. He is timing you. He is timing all of you. Calculating how long each motion takes, how much dead time exists between motions, how the process could be streamlined, optimized, reduced. How many of you could be eliminated? You keep working. You do not let the suits change your rhythm, but you feel their presence like weight on your shoulders. They are here for a reason. Companies do not send consultants with stopwatches and clipboards unless they are planning to change something. And change in a factory almost never means more jobs. At 1:45, Wallace Hardwick appears on the floor. He walks the line with the suits pointing out different stations, explaining the process. You cannot hear what he is saying over the noise of the machinery, but you can read his body language. He is defensive. His shoulders are tight. He keeps gesturing with his hands, making points, trying to convince the suits of something. The suits just nod and write. At 2 o'clock, the horn blows for afternoon break. You pull your earplugs and the world rushes back. You do not go outside this time. You head for the Union Hall in the basement, down one flight of stairs, through a door marked UAW Local 600, members only. The Union Hall is not much to look at. Concrete floor, cinder block walls painted pale green, folding tables, and metal chairs. There is a bulletin board covered with notices about meetings, votes, safety complaints. There is a coffee pot that has been here since the Eisenhower administration. There is a photograph on the wall of Walter Reuther, president of the UAW from 1946 to 1970, who died in a plane crash 3 years ago. Under the photograph, the quote, "There is no greater calling than to serve your fellow men. There is no greater contribution than to help the weak. There is no greater satisfaction than to have done it well." Thaddeus Wolcott is sitting at one of the folding tables reading a copy of Solidarity, the Union newspaper. Thaddeus is 61 years old, been with Midwest Motors for 37 years, Union steward for the last 20. He is short, compact, with thick forearms and hands that look like they were carved from wood. He lost most of the hair on his head 20 years ago, but compensated by growing a mustache that could hide small animals. He is wearing the same blue work shirt as everyone else, but his has seen more washing, more wear. The name patch is faded almost to illegibility. "Jazz," he says, not looking up from the paper. "Sit." You sit. Thaddeus finishes the article he is reading, folds the paper carefully, and sets it aside. "You see the suits?" he asks. "Saw them. You know what they're doing. Time motion study, I heard." "That's what they call it," Thaddeus says. "What it really is a head count. They're figuring out how many of you they can cut when the contract comes up for renewal." The word hits you like cold water. Cut. Not lay off, not reduce workforce. Cut. "They can't," you say. The contract expires in 76, Thaddeus says, 3 years. You think they're planning for next week. They're planning for 3 years from now. And when the contract comes up for renewal, they're going to come at us with demands. Wage freeze, benefit cuts, reduction in force. And they're going to say, take it or we close the plant entirely. They can't close the plant. This plant makes 1,200 cars a day. Where are they going to make those cars if they close us? Thaddeus looks at you with something like pity. Mexico, Korea, Taiwan, anywhere labor costs a tenth of what it costs here. You think this is the only plant in the world that can build a sedan? But the quality will be fine, Thaddeus says. Maybe not as good. Maybe there will be more defects. But it will be good enough and it will cost them a fraction. That's all that matters to the bean counters. Not quality, not pride, just cost. You sit with this for a moment. The union hall is quiet except for the distant throb of machinery from above. You can feel it through the floor, through your feet, through your bones. The heartbeat of the factory, the heartbeat of your life. So what do we do, you ask? Thaddeus pulls a folder from under the table and opens it. Inside are documents, spreadsheets, contracts. He pages through until he finds what he's looking for and slides it across to you. This, he says, is the proposal we're working on for 1976. You look at the numbers. Current wage $5.38 per hour. Proposed wage for 76 $6.15. That is a 77-cent raise, about 14%. The pension section shows current projections based on the formula in the existing contract. For a worker retiring at 55 with 30 years, the current formula would yield approximately $780 per month. The proposal aims to push that to $920. This is good, you say. This is what we deserve. This is what we earn, Thaddeus says. Productivity is up 18% since 1970. Profits are up 23%. But wages are up 4%. That gap, that's theft. That's money we earned that went into shareholder pockets instead of ours. This proposal just takes back what's already ours. You think they'll go for it? I think they'll fight us, Thaddeus says. I think they'll say the company can't afford it. I think they'll threaten to close, plants move production, break the union. And I think we're going to have to be ready to strike. Strike. The word hangs in the air between you like smoke. You have never been on strike. There was a strike in 1964 before you made foreman, but it only lasted 3 days before the company caved. But that was a different time. That was when the big three dominated the market, when imports were barely a factor, when the union had leverage. How long would we have to strike, you ask? As long as it takes, Thaddeus says. Could be a week, could be a month, could be longer. I can't afford a month without pay. None of us can, Thaddeus says. That's what the strike fund is for. The union will pay you $200 a week while you're on strike. It's not your full wage, but it's something. $200 a week, $800 a month. Your monthly expenses are $519. That leaves $281. That is actually more than you have left over now. Except that does not account for the lost wages, the lost pension accrual, the uncertainty of not knowing when it will end. I got 12 years left, you say. I can't afford to gamble 12 years on a strike that might not work. Thaddeus leans back in his chair, and the metal creaks under his weight. He looks at you for a long moment, and you cannot tell if he is disappointed or just tired. Kid, he says, and you are 42. But to Thaddeus, you will always be a kid. You think keeping your head down and doing the work is going to protect you. You think the company is going to say, oh, Jasper Calloway, he's been here 18 years. He's never caused trouble. Let's make sure we take care of him. That's not how this works. When they start cutting, they don't cut based on loyalty. They cut based on cost. And you cost the same as everyone else on that line. The horn sounds. Break is over. You slide the contract proposal back across the table. Think about it, Thaddeus says. Think about what you're willing to fight for. Because if we don't fight, we're going to lose everything anyway. At least if we fight, we got a chance. You walk back to the line in silence. The red door, the earplugs, the wall of sound, car after car, door after door. But now you cannot stop thinking about the numbers. $6.15 per hour, $920 per month pension, 14% wage increase, 18% productivity gain, 23% profit increase, 4% wage growth. The arithmetic is simple. The arithmetic is brutal. You are creating value. The company is capturing it. The union wants to rebalance the equation. The company will fight to keep it tilted. And you are caught in the middle trying to make it 12 more years without getting crushed. At 3 o'clock, Cormac makes a mistake. He is installing a passenger door on a blue sedan, and he does not align it correctly. The door goes on, crooked, the hinges are stressed, and when the next station tries to close it, the door jams. The line stops. The line never stops. When the line stops, a siren goes off. Not the horn that signals brakes, but a different sound, higher pitched urgent. It means there is a problem. It means production has halted. It means someone is going to have to explain why. Wallace Hardwick appears within 90 seconds. The suits are with him. They all walk to Station 12 to the blue sedan with the jammed door to Cormac, who is standing there looking like he wants the floor to open and swallow him. You step in before Wallace can say anything. My fault, you say. I should have been watching closer. Wallace looks at you, then at Cormac, then back at you. He knows you are lying. Everyone knows you are lying, but you are the foreman. Taking responsibility is your job. Get it fixed, Wallace says. Now, you and Cormac remove the door, realign it, reinstall it correctly. The whole process takes 3 minutes. 3 minutes of the line being stopped. 3 minutes of lost production. At 1,236 cars per day, across 3 shifts, that is about 0.86 cars per minute. 3 minutes is 2.58 cars lost. Each car generates about $4,200 in revenue. 2.58 cars is $10,836. You just cost the company $10,836. Wallace does not say anything else. He just makes a note on his clipboard and walks away. The suits make notes too. You can imagine what they are writing. Station 12, 3-minute stop. Foreman accepted blame. Consider for reduction. The line starts again. Cormac looks at you with something like worship in his eyes. Thank you, he says, but you cannot hear him over the noise. You just nod. The rest of the shift passes in a blur. Your mind is not on the doors anymore. Your mind is doing arithmetic. $10,836 lost. Your annual salary is $11,200. You just cost the company almost exactly 1 year of your wages for 3 minutes. For one mistake. For covering for a kid who is still learning. How many mistakes can you afford before they decide you are not worth keeping at 3:30 the horn blows? Shift over. You pull your earplugs and the absence of noise is almost as overwhelming as the presence of it. Your ears ring. They will ring all night. They will ring in your sleep. They will still be ringing when you wake up at 5:47 tomorrow morning. In the locker room, you sit on the bench longer than usual. Other workers stream past heading home. You should go too. Maureen will have dinner ready. The kids will want to tell you about their day. There are things to do, responsibilities to meet, but right now you just need to sit. Dutch Kellerman appears already in street clothes, his shift done 12 hours ago. He should be home sleeping. Instead, he is here. Heard you stop the line, he says. News travels fast. Kid made a mistake. I covered. That was stupid, Dutch says, but there is no judgment in his voice. That's the kind of thing that gets you noticed. And right now, you don't want to be noticed. What was I supposed to do? Let them fire him. They're going to fire him anyway, Dutch says. Maybe not today, maybe not this year, but when the cuts come, he's going to be on the list. He's 19. He's got no seniority. He's replaceable. Taking the fall for him doesn't save him. It just puts you at risk too. He's a good kid. Lots of good kids in the unemployment line, Dutch says. He sits down next to you on the bench, grunts as his knees bend. You know what your problem is, Jazz? You still think this is about being good at your job. You think if you work hard, if you do everything right, if you take care of your people, the company will take care of you, Buzz. The contract, Dutch cuts you off. The contract is paper. And paper doesn't mean much when the people who signed it decide they don't want to honor it anymore. The words settle on you like dust. You want to argue? You want to tell Dutch he is wrong, that he is too cynical, that things are not as bad as he thinks. But you cannot because you are starting to suspect he is right. What are you doing here, Dutch? You should be home, sleeping. Couldn't sleep, he says. I keep thinking about my pension statement. Got it yesterday. Says I'm going to get $847 a month starting next year when I retire. You know what that number is based on? It's based on the assumption that the pension fund stays solvent, that the company keeps making contributions, that nothing changes. He stands up his knees, making sounds like yours do. I'm 58 years old, Dutch says. I got 1 year left, 1 year and I'm out. And I'm scared, Jazz. I'm scared that I've been working for 33 years for a promise that's going to disappear the second it becomes inconvenient for them to keep it. He walks away, and you are alone in the locker room with the distant thrum of machinery overhead and the ringing in your ears and the arithmetic running through your head. $847, $780, $920, $1,100. Numbers that used to mean security now starting to feel like sandcastles at high tide. You drive home on autopilot. The Impala knows the way. 4.3 miles, 14 minutes. You park in the driveway at 4:08, 2 minutes late. Maureen will notice. She always notices. The house smells like meatloaf and onions and the particular warmth of a home that has been lived in all day. Maureen is in the kitchen, her back to you, draining potatoes over the sink. Steam rises around her face. She is wearing a blue dress, practical with an apron over it. Her hair is still done from this morning, but coming loose now at the edges. She is 39 years old. You have been married for 14 years. You know the shape of her shoulders, the way she tilts her head when she is concentrating, the sound of her footsteps on the linoleum. "You're late," she says without turning around. Line stopped. Had to sort it out. "Everything okay?" "Everything's fine." "It is not fine." "Nothing is fine." But what are you supposed to say? That you are starting to think the last 18 years have been built on quicksand? That the next 12 years might be a march toward a cliff? That the arithmetic is starting to look like a trap? You say nothing. You go to the bedroom, change out of your work shirt into a clean t-shirt that does not smell like metal and oil. You wash your hands and face in the bathroom. The water is hot. 30 seconds. You still have hot water in 30 seconds. Dinner is at 5:30, the whole family at the table. Maureen has made meatloaf, mashed potatoes, green beans from a can. There is milk for the kids, iced tea for you and Maureen. The portions are generous but not wasteful. This meal costs about $3 to make, feeds 4 people, and there will be leftovers for tomorrow. Declan is 12, already as tall as Maureen, all elbows and knees and nervous energy. He is talking about baseball, about his team, about the game on Friday. You are the assistant coach. You had forgotten. You need to remember. Fiona is 9, quiet where her brother is loud, thoughtful where he is impulsive. She pushes green beans around her plate without eating them. Maureen does not push. Pick your battles. Green beans are not worth a fight. How was school? You ask the question every father asks every night, expecting the answer every child gives. Fine, Declan says. Good, Fiona says. You nod. This is the ritual. You ask, they answer. Everyone has performed their role. Dad, Declan says, can we get a pool? Tommy's family got a pool. He says it's the best thing ever. A pool. You do the math automatically. An above-ground pool, the cheap kind, runs about $400. Installation, chemicals, maintenance, call it another $200. $600 total. You have $8,240 in savings. $600 is 7% of that. It would set back your retirement cabin fund by about 6 months. Maybe next year, you say. We'll see how things go with the contract negotiations in 76. You always say next year, Declan says, but he is not complaining, just stating a fact. Next year, I mean it. You tell him, and you hope it is true. After dinner, Maureen goes to her PTA meeting. The school's 5 blocks away. She walks. You clean up the kitchen, wash the dishes, put away the leftovers. Fiona watches television in the living room. Happy days. The Fonz is doing something cool. The laugh track plays. Declan spreads his homework on the kitchen table. Math. Fractions. You sit next to him, look at the problems. 3/8 plus 5/8 equals what Declan is struggling. You show him how to add the numerators, keep the denominator the same. 3 plus 5 is 8. 8/8, that reduces to 1. 1 whole, he gets it. You can see the moment it clicks. His face lights up and he starts working through the rest of the problems on his own. You watch him, this boy, who is half you and half Maureen, and entirely himself, and you think about the promise you made when he was born. That he would have it better than you did. That he would not have to work in a factory. That he would go to college, get a degree, have a career instead of a job. Wayne's state tuition is $780 a year. 4 years is $3,120. You have $8,240 in savings. That is enough. Even if the pension gets cut, even if you have to work past 55, even if everything else falls apart, you will make sure Declan gets his education. By 7:30, the homework is done. Maureen is home from her meeting. The kids are in bed, or at least in their rooms, pretending to get ready for bed. You sit in your chair, the brown recliner that you bought at Sears in 1968 for $89, and that has molded itself to your body over 5 years of nightly use. The Detroit Free Press is on your lap. You open it to the front page. The headline is about Watergate. The Senate hearings continue. New revelations. Nixon denies everything. You skim the article, but you do not really read it. Politics feels very far away right now. Washington might as well be the moon. You turn to the business section. There in the middle of page 4, a small article, Auto industry posts record profits. Midwest Motors is mentioned. Third quarter earnings up 23%. Shareholders pleased. Stock price rising. CEO Richard Vance Harvard, MB, a former McKinsey consultant, quoted as saying the company is leaner and more competitive than ever. Leaner, that means fewer workers. More competitive, that means lower costs. You are a cost. 2,800 men on your shift are costs. The arithmetic is simple. Reduce costs, increase profits. It is not personal. It is just business. You close the paper, close your eyes. The chair is comfortable. The house is quiet. Maureen is in the kitchen doing something you cannot hear. This is your life, this house on Oakwood Avenue. This chair, this moment of peace between shift and sleep. You think about Dutch's words. The contract is paper. You think about Thaddeus's proposal. $6.15 an hour, $920 a month pension, strike if necessary. You think about the suits with their stopwatches and clipboards calculating how many of you they can eliminate. You think about Cormac, 19 years old, believing that hard work will be enough. You think about yourself at 19 believing the same thing. You still want to believe it. You need to believe it. Because if hard work is not enough, if keeping your end of the bargain does not guarantee the other side will keep theirs, then what is any of this for? The clock on the wall ticks toward 8. In less than 10 hours, you will wake at 5:47 and do it all again. And the day after that, and the day after that, for 12 more years, 4,000 more shifts, 1.6 million more door inspections, unless the line stops, unless the plant closes, unless the promises turn out to be paper. You open your eyes. Maureen is standing in the doorway watching you. You okay, she asks. Just tired. She knows you are not telling the whole truth. 14 years of marriage, she can read you like Declan reads his math book, but she does not push. That is the agreement you have. You do not bring the factory home. She does not bring her worries to you. You protect each other from the weight you each carry. Come to bed, she says. You will. Soon. But first you sit here for 5 more minutes in this chair, in this house, in this life you have built, on the promise that hard work means security. You sit here and you let yourself believe just for 5 more minutes that the promise is real. Tomorrow you will wake at 5:47. Tomorrow you will put on your boots. Tomorrow you will punch the clock and check the doors and keep your head down and do the work. Tomorrow the suits will come back with their stopwatches. Tomorrow the arithmetic will continue. Tomorrow you will be one day closer to retirement, or one day closer to the cliff. The alarm does not ring on Tuesday, the June 12th, 2008. You do not need it anymore. Your body wakes at 5:47 out of habit, out of muscle memory, carved so deep it has become part of your autonomic nervous system. 35 years of waking at this exact minute, even though you have not worked in 23 years. 35 years of your brain saying time to work, even though there is no work, even though the work ended in 1985 when you retired at 54. The bedroom is dark, summer darkness, which means the sun will rise soon but not yet. The clock on the nightstand reads 5:47 in red digital numbers. Not the mechanical hammer-on-bells violence of the West clocks you used to own. Digital, silent. The future arrived while you were not paying attention. You lie still for a moment listening. The house is quiet. No sound from the other side of the bed where Maureen used to sleep. That side has been empty for 14 months. Stage 4 breast cancer. It took her in April of 2007. She was 73. You were 77. You have been alone ever since. The silence is total. In 1973, this house was full of sound. Maureen in the kitchen making coffee. Kids running in the hallway. The radio playing. Life happening in every room. Now there is just you and the silence and the digital clock marking time that no longer means anything. You sit up. Your back does not announce itself anymore. It screams. The vertebrae that compressed over 30 years of factory work have compressed further bone grinding on bone discs, gone to dust. You are 77 years old. You are 5 feet 9 inches tall, same as you have always been, except you are not. You are 5 feet 7 now. You have lost 2 inches to spinal compression. You are physically shorter than you were in 1973. Your knees do not make sounds like gravel anymore. They make sounds like gunshots. Pop, crack. Your hands shake. Not a tremor exactly. More like a persistent vibration, as if the pneumatic tools from 40 years ago are still running somewhere deep in your nerve pathways. You can hold a coffee cup, but you cannot thread a needle. You can grip a steering wheel, but you cannot write legibly. The neurologist called it Peripheral neuropathy. Occupational injury. Permanent. You stand. The bedroom is the same bedroom you have slept in for 45 years. Same house? 2847 Oakwood Avenue. The mortgage paid off in 1983 exactly as planned. The house is yours, free and clear. Nobody can take it from you. This is supposed to be victory. This is supposed to be the American dream achieved. The house is worth $63,000. You know this because the property tax assessment came last month. In 2006, before the housing crisis, it was appraised at $167,000. Then the market collapsed. Lehman Brothers failed. Bear Stearns failed. The global financial system nearly ended. And your house lost 62% of its value in 18 months. Not that it matters. You are not selling. You cannot afford to sell. Where would you go? What would you buy? This house is paid off. Anywhere else would have a mortgage, and you cannot afford a mortgage on $612 a month. $612. That is your pension. That is what 30 years at Midwest Motors became. That is what the promise turned into. You walk to the bathroom. The linoleum floor is cold even through your socks. The house is cold. You keep the thermostat at 62 degrees in summer because natural gas costs money, and money is a finite resource that depletes faster than it replenishes. In winter, you keep it at 58. You wear sweaters. The mirror shows you a face you barely recognize. 77 years old. The hair is gone, just a white fringe around the sides. The lines around your eyes are not lines anymore, they are canyons. The skin hangs loose where it used to be tight. You are disappearing into yourself, collapsing inward like an old building. You have all your teeth. That is something. They are not your original teeth, not anymore. Dentures since 2003 after the last of the molars gave up. But they fit well enough. You can chew. Small victories. The water takes 90 seconds to get hot now, not 30 seconds like in 1973. The water heater is the original from 1961, 47 years old, held together with rust and prayer. It will fail someday soon. A new water heater costs $800 installed. You have $1,400 in your savings account. If the water heater fails, you will have $600 left. That is your emergency fund. That is your margin of survival. You do not shave every day anymore. What is the point? You are not going anywhere. You are not seeing anyone. You shave on Sundays before you drive to the cemetery to visit Maureen. Sunday is the day you pretend you still have dignity. The kitchen smells like nothing. No coffee brewing. The automatic timer broke 3 years ago, and you never replaced it. Too expensive. $38 for a new one. Instead, you make coffee manually, 1 cup at a time, in a single-serve French press that Declan gave you for Christmas in 2005. Works fine. Saves money. Declan. Michael Declan Calloway. Age 47. Lives in San Jose, California. Software engineer at a company you cannot pronounce, doing work you do not understand. Married. 2 kids. Makes $190,000 a year. Called you 3 days ago. Calls every Sunday. Asks how you are doing. You lie and say fine. He offers to send money. You lie and say you do not need it. He knows you are lying. You know he knows. This is the dance you do. You make coffee. The French press is glass and chrome elegant. The coffee is Folgers from a red plastic tub store brand when it is on sale. You boil water in a kettle on the stove because the microwave broke last year and microwaves cost money. You pour the water over the grounds, wait 4 minutes, press the plunger down. The coffee is bitter and hot. Perfect. The kitchen table is Formica avocado green, the same table from 1973. The chairs are the same chairs. Maureen wanted to replace them in the 90s, said they were dated out of style. You said they still worked. Function over fashion. She let it go. Now she is gone, and the chairs remain witnesses to 40 years of meals, 40 years of family, 40 years of slow decline. You sit in your usual spot facing the window. The view is Oakwood Avenue at 6:15 in the morning. Empty. No cars. No people. The neighborhood has changed. The houses are older, more worn. Some are abandoned windows, boarded up lawns gone to weeds. The foreclosure crisis hit Dearborn hard. For sale signs everywhere in 2008 and 9. Most of them still there. Nobody buying, nobody can afford to buy. You sip your coffee and think about nothing in particular. This is the routine now. Wake, coffee, sit. The hours stretch ahead, empty and identical. You will eat breakfast eventually. Oatmeal probably. Cheap, filling. You will watch television, the news. The game shows, whatever is on. You will eat lunch. Sandwich, soup from a can. You will do the crossword puzzle in the newspaper you get from the library 3 days late free. You will eat dinner. frozen meal from the dollar store. You will watch more television. You will go to bed at 8:30 because there is nothing else to do and sleeping is free. This is retirement. This is what you work 30 years for. The mail arrives at 10. You hear the mailbox clatter from the living room where you are watching The Price is Right. A woman from Kansas has just won a new car. She is crying. The audience is applauding. You are thinking about the property tax bill that is due next month. $1,100. You have it saved. Barely. You walk to the mailbox, your knees protesting each step. 4 letters. 3 are junk. Credit card offers. You do not have credit cards. You do not believe in debt. You rip them up without opening them. The 4th letter is from Midwest Motors Pension Fund in liquidation. The return address is Cleveland, Ohio, not Detroit. The pension fund moved to Cleveland in 2004. Cheaper office space, lower overhead. These are the things you know now. The things you learned by watching everything fall apart in slow motion. You open the letter standing in the driveway. Your hands shake. The paper trembles. The words swim in and out of focus until you put on the reading glasses you keep in your shirt pocket. Dear plan participant, as you are aware, the Midwest Motors Pension Fund has been in liquidation proceedings since 2001 following the bankruptcy of Midwest Motors Corporation. The Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation, PBGC, assumed administration of the fund in 2002. We are writing to inform you of a further adjustment to your monthly benefit amount effective July 1, 2008. Due to underfunding of the pension plan and revised actuarial calculations, your monthly benefit will be reduced from $680 to $612, a decrease of $68 per month. We understand this may cause hardship. Unfortunately, the PBGC is only able to guarantee benefits up to the statutory limit, and early retirement benefits are subject to additional reductions as specified in EORIMSA Section 4022. If you have questions, please contact. You stop reading, $612. Down from $680, which was down from $780, which was down from $947, which was supposed to be $1,180 based on the formula when you retired in 1985. The arithmetic is brutal. You worked 30 years. You retired in 1985 at age 54 with 24,000 hours of labor invested. The contract said you would get $1,180 a month adjusted for cost of living for the rest of your life. That was the promise. For the first 16 years from 85 to 2001, you got exactly that. $1,180 adjusted annually. Not great, but livable. You and Maureen managed. Social Security added another $900 for you. Maureen's part-time work had earned her $350 in Social Security. Combined, you had $2,430 a month. The house was paid off. You were okay. Then 2001 happened. Midwest Motors declared Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Not because the company was failing, the company was profitable. But the new owners, a private equity firm that bought Midwest in 1998, decided that pension obligations were too expensive. Legacy costs. So they bankrupted the profitable division, terminated the pension plan, and walked away. Legal. All legal. The PBGC took over. Recalculated everything using formulas you could not understand and lawyers you could not afford to challenge. Your $1,180 became $947 because of early retirement penalties. You were 54 when you retired, not 65. The PBGC penalized you for retiring when the company's own contract said you could retire. You and Maureen adjusted, cut expenses, stopped eating out, stopped taking vacations. Got by. 2004, another cut. Administrative costs, they said. Underfunding, they said. 947 became 780. The same year, Maureen got sick the first time. Breast cancer. Treatment cost $68,000. Insurance covered 80%. You covered $13,600. You emptied your savings. Took a home equity line of credit for $40,000 against the house you thought was paid off. Maureen survived. You went into debt. 2005, another cut. Investment losses in the pension fund, they said. 780 became 680. You started buying generic everything. Stopped using the air conditioning in summer. Wore extra sweaters in winter. 2007, Maureen got sick again. Stage 4, inoperable, palliative care only. You brought her home, cared for her yourself because you could not afford hospice because Medicare only covers hospice for the final 6 months, and Maureen lived 8. You watched her disappear over those months. Watched the woman you loved become someone you did not recognize. Watched her pain increase while you stood helpless because Morphine is expensive and rationed. She died in April. The funeral cost $8,000. You paid it with the last of the HELOC money. You still owe $32,000 on a house worth $63,000. And now, June 2008, $612 a month. Your Social Security is $1,100. Total income, 17 to 12. Your expenses property tax average to 92 per month utilities. 140 food, 200 if you are careful medicine, 240 for the pills that keep your heart beating and your blood pressure down and your cholesterol from killing you. HELOC payment, 275. Total 947, leaves you 765. Sounds okay until you remember that you need clothes sometimes and the car needs weight and things break. The refrigerator is making a noise. The roof has a leak, your glasses are scratched, and you need a new prescription. All the small things that used to be manageable now feel like catastrophes waiting to happen. You walk back inside. The letter is still in your hand. You sit at the kitchen table and read it again, as if reading it a second time will change the numbers. It does not. $68 per month, $816 per year. Over the next 10 years, if you live that long, that is $8,160. Gone. Stolen. You think about Dutch Kellerman, retired 1974, got his $847 a month for 27 years until he died in 2001 at age 86, just months before the bankruptcy. Dutch was one of the lucky ones. He got out before the theft began. You think about Vaughn Baptiste. His son became a doctor just like Vaughn planned. But Vaughn himself died in 2003, age 78. Heart attack. The doctor said it was stress-related. Vaughn's pension had been cut from $700 to $480. He was working night shift at Walmart, stocking shelves for $650 an hour, trying to make ends meet. His heart gave out in aisle 7, next to the cereal. You think about Silas Kern, alive as far as you know. You saw him at Maureen's funeral. He looked old. Older than you, and he is 4 years younger. He asked how you were managing. You lied. He lied back. Two old men lying to each other about surviving. You think about Cormac Hayes. Cormac, who was 19 in 1973. Cormac, who believed hard work was enough. Cormac would be 54 years old now, if he is still alive. The same age you were when you retired. You wonder if Cormac made it to retirement. You wonder if his pension got cut too. You wonder if he is sitting in a kitchen somewhere doing the same arithmetic, coming to the same conclusion. The conclusion is simple. You were robbed. Not by a man with a gun, not in a single violent moment, but slowly, systematically, legally. Over 23 years, they took what you earned. They called it restructuring. They called it market conditions. They called it unfortunate but necessary. They called it everything except what it was. Theft. You walk to the basement. The stairs are treacherous now. 12 steps, each one an opportunity for disaster. You grip the handrail, place each foot carefully. Down into the cool darkness. The basement smells like concrete and mildew and 40 years of accumulated boxes. You know exactly where the box is. Far corner. Under the workbench you built in 1976. The box is cardboard original from a Magnavox television you bought in '79. The television is long dead. The box remains. You pull it out, carry it to the workbench, open it. Inside, documents. Your entire working life preserved. Time cards, pay stubs, union newsletters, contract agreements, pension statements. All of it saved because you believed these things mattered. You believed documentation was proof. You believed if you kept your end of the deal, the paper would protect you. You find what you were looking for near the bottom. The pension handbook from when you retired, 1985. Blue cover, Midwest Motors logo. You open it to page 12. Defined benefit plan. Employees retiring at age 55 or later with 30 years of service will receive a pension calculated as follows: $39.33 per year of service. For an employee with 30 years of service, monthly pension benefit, $1,180. Benefits guaranteed for life of employee with 50% survivor benefits for spouse. Full medical coverage included. Guaranteed for life. You read the words 3 times. Guaranteed for life. Your pension $612. Maureen's survivor benefit $0 because your pension was already below the minimum threshold when she died. Medical coverage, Medicare only, which covers 80% of approved costs, which means you pay 20% of everything, which is why the pills cost $240 a month instead of $48. Guaranteed for life. The paper said so. The contract promised. And the promise was a lie. You carry the box upstairs. Your arms shake from the weight. It is not heavy, maybe 15 pounds, But you are 77 and your muscles are not what they were. Nothing is what it was. You set the box on the kitchen table. You need to do something. You need to act. For 23 years, you have watched them take piece by piece, cut by cut, and you have done nothing except adjust. Cut expenses, make do, survive. But surviving is not enough anymore. Not when Maureen is gone. Not when every month brings a new bill you can barely pay. Not when you wake up every morning to silence and wonder if this is all there is, if this is what 30 years of labor bought you. An empty house, a shrinking pension, the slow countdown to death. You call Declan. It is 6:45 in California. He will be awake getting ready for work. Dad, his voice is worried. You never call this early. Everything okay? I need you to do something, you say. Anything. What do you need? I need you to scan these documents, all of them. My pension papers, my pay stubs, my contract, everything. I need digital copies. There is a pause. Declan is thinking. Declan is always thinking. He is smart, your son. Makes 190 a year because he is smart. Dad, why? Because I'm 77 years old. I got maybe 10 years left if I'm lucky, and I'm not spending them quiet. Whatever are you talking to, Espazo? They stole from us, you say, and your voice is steady. No anger, just fact. From me. From 8,400 families. They promised 1,180 a month. They're paying me 612. That's 568 a month stolen. Times 12 months times 23 years since the bankruptcy. You do the math in your head as you speak. 568 times 12 is 6,816. Times 23 is 156,768. $156,768, you say. That's what they stole from me, per person, times 8,400 workers. That's $1.31 billion. Dad, meanwhile, the CEO who bankrupted us, Richard Vance, you know what his severance package was? $23 million. I looked it up. Public record. He destroyed the company, destroyed our pensions, and walked away with $23 million. I know, Dad, it's not fair, but I'm telling the story, you say. I don't care if anyone listens. But it's getting told. I'm writing it down, everything. The promise, the work, the cuts, all of it. And I need those documents to prove it. Declan is quiet for a long moment. Okay, he says finally. Mail me the documents. I'll scan everything. I'll set up a website if you want. I'll help you write it. Whatever you want to do. Thank you. Dad, are you sure you're okay? Really okay? I'm fine. You lie. I just need this done. You hang up. You begin packing the documents carefully into a manila envelope. Time cards from 1955. The first paycheck. The union card from 58. The contract from 73 with its promise of security. The pension handbook from 85 with its guarantee for life. The letters documenting each cut. 2001, 2004, 2005, 2008. Every piece of paper a witness. Every document a testament to the promise and the betrayal. You will mail it tomorrow. You will go to the library and use their computers to research how to write a memoir. You will start putting words on paper even if your hands shake, even if your writing is illegible. You will tell the truth, because truth is all you have left. At 11 o'clock, you take a break. Your neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, knocks on the door. She is 72, widow husband, worked at Ford, died in 2005 before his pension got cut, but after his health care got reduced. She brings you a casserole every Tuesday, has done so since Maureen died. Today it is chicken and rice. It will feed you for 3 days. You thank her. She asks how you are. You say fine. She says fine too. You both know you are lying. Her husband's pension was cut. Her health care costs eat half her Social Security. She understands. Everyone in this neighborhood understands. This is what happened to the generation that built the cars. After she leaves, you sit at the kitchen table with a yellow legal pad you found in the drawer. Your hand shakes. Your writing is bad, but you can still write. You start with a question. What does it feel like to be robbed in slow motion? You write for an hour. Your hand cramps. Your vision blurs. But you keep writing. You write about 547, about the boots, about the line, about Cormac's mistake and taking the blame, about the promise in the pension handbook, about Maureen's funeral and the debt you went into to bury your wife with dignity. You write about the arithmetic. The numbers do not lie. The numbers are proof. When your hand cannot continue, you have 4 pages. 4 pages of truth. It is a start. You eat half of Mrs. Patterson's casserole for lunch. It is good. She is a good cook. You put the other half in the refrigerator. Tomorrow's lunch. Thursday's lunch. Friday, you will have soup from a can. In the afternoon, you go to the library. The Dearborn Public Library is 3 miles from your house. You drive the 1998 Honda Civic that Declan bought you in 2006. It has 140,000 miles. It runs. That is enough. You park in the handicapped spot. You have a placard now. Spinal stenosis, qualifying disability. Inside the library is cool and quiet. You go to the computer section. You do not own a computer, cannot afford one, but the library has 12 computers free to use. You sign up for 30 minutes. You search Midwest Motors bankruptcy 2001. You find articles. You read them carefully, taking notes on a piece of scrap paper the library provides. Blackstone Partners purchased Midwest Motors in 1998 for $2.1 billion. Immediately began restructuring, closed 4 plants, laid off 12,000 workers, moved production to Mexico and China. Profits increased, shareholders pleased. Then 2001 filed Chapter 11. Not because the company was failing, company was profitable, but pension obligations totaled $3.2 billion. Blackstone wanted out, so they isolated the pension liability in a separate entity, bankrupted that entity, and walked away. The parent company, Midwest Motors Global, continued operating, still operates today. You search CEO Richard Vance. You find his severance package, $23 million. You find his current position, board member at 3 Fortune 500 companies. Estimated net worth $87 million. You search PBGC pension guarantee. You find the formula. Complex, based on age at retirement, years of service, actuarial calculations. You retired at 54. Early retirement penalty. Your guaranteed benefit calculated as 1180 times 0.52 equals 613. Close enough to the 612 they are actually paying you. 48%. They kept 48% because you retired when the contract said you could retire. You print the articles, 10 cents per page. You print 20 pages, $2. Worth it. Back home, you spread the pages on the kitchen table next to the pension letter. Evidence, documentation, proof. Over the next 3 days, you write whenever your hand will allow. 4 pages becomes 8. 8 becomes 12. You write about the day in 1973. You write about the work. You write about the promise. You write about the cuts. You write about Maureen. You write, they told us hard work meant security. They lied. But we believed them because the evidence said it was true. Our fathers got pensions. Our union had power. The contract was in writing. We had no reason to doubt. On Friday, you mail the documents to Declan. On Saturday, you keep writing. On Sunday, you shave, put on your one good shirt, and drive to the cemetery. You sit by Maureen's grave and you tell her what you are doing. You tell her you are fighting back. You tell her you love her. You tell her you are sorry about the medical bills, sorry about everything. The stone is simple. Maureen Calloway, beloved wife and mother, 1934 to 2007. You paid $800 for that stone. It was the cheapest one that didn't look cheap. Small victories. You drive home. You eat your TV dinner. You watch the news. The economy is collapsing. Banks are failing. Houses are foreclosing. The American dream is ending on national television, and everyone is acting surprised, as if they did not see this coming, as if the theft has not been happening for 30 years. You go to bed early. Tomorrow you will write more. Tomorrow you will keep telling the truth. Tomorrow and the day after and however many days you have left. You lie in the dark and think about 547, about waking to an alarm that meant work, about believing that work meant security, about 30 years of trading your body for a promise. The promise was broken. But you are not broken. Not yet. You still have your voice. You still have your memory. You still have the truth. And the truth once written down cannot be stolen. Jasper Calloway died on March 14th, 2019. He was 88 years old. He died in the house on Oakwood Avenue in his sleep in the blue recliner he had bought from Goodwill in 1999 for $28 after the brown one finally gave up. His son Declan found him 3 days later, flew in from San Jose, let himself in with the spare key. The house was quiet. The refrigerator was making that noise. The roof still had that leak. On the kitchen table, a yellow legal pad, a pen, and the last page Jasper had been working on. His pension at the time of death bill was $612 per month. It had not increased since 2008. His savings, $417. His debts, $28,000, remaining on the home equity line of credit taken out to pay for Maureen's first cancer treatment. His legacy, a memoir titled The 547 Lie. Declan had helped him publish it in 2011 through a small press in Detroit. The book was 240 pages. It told the story of one day in 1973 and what happened to that day over the next 35 years. It was dedicated to Maureen and to the 8,400 workers of Midwest Motors Plant Number 7. 8,400 copies were printed, all of them sold, one for every worker who had been there in 1973. The book is now required reading in 22 college labor history courses across the United States. It has been cited in 5 congressional hearings on pension reform. It has been quoted in union organizing drives at Amazon, Walmart, Target, and Starbucks. In 2012, Jasper was invited to testify before the Senate Special Committee on Pension Security. He was 81 years old. His hands shook so badly he could barely hold his prepared statement. His voice was weak, but his words were clear. A senator asked him, "Mr. Calloway, you worked for 30 years. What did you expect?" Jasper looked at the senator for a long moment. Then he said, "Senator, I expected them to keep their word. I have the contract right here, signed in 1985. It says guaranteed for life. I kept my end. I gave them 30 years of my body. I lost hearing in my left ear. My hands shake from nerve damage. I breathed metal dust for 30 years. I kept the contract. They broke it. And you're asking what I expected. I expected America to mean something." The video of that testimony was uploaded to YouTube by someone in the audience. It went viral, 2.3 million views in 3 days. It is still online. You can watch it right now. The clip became a rallying cry. Union organizers played it at meetings. Workers shared it on social media. It was edited into montages about economic injustice, about corporate greed, about the death of the American dream. But nothing changed. The pensions were never restored. The PBGC formulas were never reformed. Richard Vance never gave back his $23 million. The system that allowed the theft continued legal and untouchable. Jasper knew this. He said as much in the final chapter of his book, "I am not writing this because I think it will fix anything. The money is gone, the promises are broken. But I am writing it so that when they try to do it again, and they will try to do it again, someone will be able to point to this and say, 'We have seen this before. We know how it ends. We will not be fooled twice.'" On Tuesday, the June 12th, 2024, 51 years after Jasper first walked through the doors of Midwest Motors Plant Number 7, a group of warehouse workers at an Amazon fulfillment center in Romulus, Michigan, voted to unionize. The vote was close. 1,200 workers. 623 voted yes. 577 voted no. Margin 46 votes. In the break room of that warehouse, someone had taped a quote to the wall. It was printed on plain white paper in Times New Roman font. "The promise isn't given. It's taken. By us. Together. That's the only promise that's real." Jasper Calloway, 1931 to 2019. The workers who voted yes had read The 547 Lie. They knew what happened when you trusted the company to keep its promises. They knew what happened when you let them take piece by piece until nothing was left. They fought, they organized, they won. It was a small victory. One warehouse, 1,200 workers. Amazon has 800,000 employees. The war is far from over. But small victories matter. They are what Jasper taught. They are what he left behind. The house on Oakwood Avenue was sold in 2019 to pay off the home equity line of credit. It sold for $58,000. After the debt was paid, there was $26,000 left. Declan split it between himself and his sister Fiona, $13,000 each. That was the inheritance, $13,000. The sum total of 30 years of factory work, 45 years of mortgage payments, a lifetime of doing everything right. But there was another inheritance, one that cannot be measured in dollars. The book, the testimony, the truth written down and preserved, the knowledge that promises must be fought for, not trusted, the understanding that solidarity is not optional, it is survival, the certainty that when they come for your pension, your health care, your dignity, you do not go quietly. You document, you testify, you tell the truth, and maybe if you are lucky, someone listens. Somewhere in America right now, a young worker is reading The 547 Lie for the first time. They are 23 years old. They work 2 jobs. They have student debt. They have no pension, no health care, no security. They have been told that this is normal, that this is just how things are, that their grandparents had it easy, but the world has changed. They are reading about Jasper Calloway and learning that their grandparents did not have it easy. Their grandparents fought for every benefit, every protection, every dollar, and then they watched it all get taken away. The young worker closes the book. They think for a moment, and then they search online how to start a union. This is what remains. This is what Jasper left behind. This is enough. The alarm does not ring anymore. But somewhere someone is waking at 5:47. They are putting on boots. They are packing a lunch. They are driving to work in the dark, believing that if they work hard enough, they will be okay. They need to know the truth. The truth is in the book. The book is still here. The fight continues.